This session, like one of the sessions at the back end of today, it was nice to see people in the room. We took a punt yesterday and we did a live demonstration. Today, we're going to do that as well. I like to take risk. I enjoy putting people in places they're uncomfortable, because I believe the more you put people into uncomfortable places, the more comfortable they become. So I'd like to introduce 4 very capable humans here: Mr. Philip De Cruz, Mr. Robin Vesey, Mr. Chris Rickard, and Mr. Narvan Tirupathy. Each of those present a really capable skill in their specific domains. Narvan, maybe you could kick off and just give me a little bit of a background about your background, yourself, and then I'll talk about what we're going to do after that.
Awesome. I am Narvan Tirupathy. I am the AI practitioner. I'm sort of technologist by role. I'm supporting Connection and Firefly and other initiatives as well. So yeah, it's pretty much very deep technical guy on AI.
Yeah, you are.
Hello everyone, my name is Chris Rickard. I am software engineer turned AI engineer. I'm the founder and CEO of a business called UserDoc, which helps companies build software requirements using AI.
Hi, Robin Vesey, run a company called Regum Technologies. We've been building technology for the last 30 years. AI started long before generative AI. Our first one was a digital twin of a newspaper that allowed every department to be able to see the newspaper and build their part of the picture. And so AI and technology can provide a lot more than just producing text, and so that's sort of my focus.
Hi all, Phil De Cruz here. You may know who I am already, but I work for Connection. I head the partnerships and channel department there. And prior to Connection, I was a prior investigator for 12 years. So if you actually want to hear some stories, come out and find me on the breaks and I'll share a couple. Thank you. Back to you, Cordo.
Thanks, mate. So the reason why I've got these amazing men in the room is because we're going to try and create something special right now. In the back of the room, if you could put your hands up, team, we have some students from RMIT. They've come along today to introduce themselves to some of the leaders in technology, because these are young people looking for opportunities in life, but they're actually coming along to put themselves in an uncomfortable zone as well. I've thrown them into a room, and literally, they're going to get thrown into a room, and with these amazing men. And the aim is that we're going to do some problem statement gathering right now. I'm going to ask for people to give me some problem statements, some issues they've got in their business, things that need a technological twist, and I'll kick that off a little bit. An example could be as simple: I've got a piece of paper in the field that my teams fill out. I'd really like to digitise and classify that paper and have it sitting somewhere digitally so I could act on it in a much faster time than waiting 30 days for it to come in. That could be one. I've got a tender that I hate responding to. I do tenders all the time. I'd really like to be able to take a tender document and fulfil 80% of the content. We all know the crappy stuff. Have you got SOC compliance? What's your ABN? Blah, 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 blah. It's all stuff you don't need someone filling in, but we always do. Tender document, and I'd like that to be 80% completed so I don't have to spend inordinate amounts of time doing unnecessary tasks. They're 2 kickoffs. So have a think for a minute or so, talk amongst your tables, and I'm going to go to the audience and ask for some problem statements. Something in your business that you think could be digitised or improved. Our aim is that Chris is going to come up on the stage. We're going to select one we think that we can deliver to, and then we're going to go from there. But before you do that, and sorry, my apologies, I've got the order out of sequence. Chris is actually going to do a quick demonstration of the user gathering tool that he's going to use at the end of today's session. The other important piece is Phil's going to do a little presentation around how to design walkthroughs, how-tos, and be better at teaching your people how to use technology in your organisations.
All right, team. So I've just gone through this, but I'll do it again. You know a bit about me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run through a bit of info about my business, UserDoc, which is an AI-infused software requirements gathering tool. We're still in the startup phase. So yeah, been going for about 18 months, but anyway, I'll get through it. I'm going to start at the start with possibly something not many people may understand fully, which is what are software requirements. So really similar to like a engineering, like construction project, we need to communicate this. So it's a blueprint of the system, what needs to be built, foundational for the actual development of the software piece. Bridge between stakeholders, so it's how it's communicated across different departments in a business and everyone can set expectations. And lastly, the requirements turn into long-term reference or documentation once the system has been implemented. However, there's quite a large problem here, which is not just my slides look terrible, but the real problem is 50% of all software projects actually fail due to issues with software requirements. And failure in this respect means they go significantly over budget, significantly over time, and are often actually cancelled due to missed expectations from upfront setting. And you probably all can imagine this in many different fields, right? It's not just in IT. The core reasons for this are unclear requirements, meaning what has been set up front is ambiguous and people have to make assumptions and expectations are missed. Incomplete requirements, there's just whole chunks missing about what needs to happen, which leads to people having to go out there and make decisions on the fly. And misaligned requirements, meaning, bring it back to the human-centered focus of the previous talk. It's aligned, they might be clear and complete, however, they're not aligned with what the actual end users need. $30 billion problem. So the US alone spends $30 billion every single year fixing issues related to software requirements. You're probably not going to be surprised that this is where UserDoc comes in. So we're an AI-infused requirements management system, helps businesses build better requirements with AI, faster, and also builds a source of truth. Now, I'm going to run horrendously quickly through a demo of this really fast because I'm going to show it a bit later on. But what we do, in a nutshell, is help with new software requirements. So this is a facilitated wizard, which I'm building out a new software system called Atlantis. It's a healthcare management system. So this is what a business would use in a facilitation session. So we can upload documentation. It comes back and gives us a summary. Our AI, condenses everything that needs to be done. AI identifies the users involved, so the end users, but again, humans in the loop at all times. So this healthcare system has patients, receptionists, service providers, etc. The next step is AI has gone through and identified all the features, or is suggesting the features. So again, a great first draft. So the features that these user types would need in this system. So our customers usually spend anywhere between 10 minutes to 10 hours fleshing this out. This is like a whiteboarding session that's been infused with AI, really. Then it comes down and we're talking about the actual goals and frustrations of the users of this system. So bringing humans to the forefront. So what annoys them and what are they looking for? And the last step here is just one example journey. So a journey map in textual contexts of the boundaries of the software we're building. So a patient logs in, interacts with a receptionist, eventually meets with a service provider, etc. From this little quick demo of UserDoc, what we produced is 69 or something requirements for a software system, all the way down to, as a patient, I want to log into this system so I can access my healthcare information and services, and very detailed criteria about what would need to be put in place for this to be done. Now, this is a first draft. Customers say it's around 70 to 80% of their fluff, like Courtney was saying, the tender proposal, really similar concept. But it's not just for generating new software projects. We also help reverse engineer existing software. So many systems are not new, they're actually existing. So all this source code, whether it's legacy like COBOL from the 1960s or it's new from modern languages, UserDoc can take this and uplift it into detailed documentation. So a quick example, this is a clunky old medical tool used by radiologists around the world. It's built in a very old software system, and UserDoc was able to turn it into really succinct documentation in about a couple of days. It might take a business analyst 6 to 8 months to do this. We can also take a system called COBOL, this is an attendee management system built many, many years ago. Again, we've uplifted this right down to the sums and the calculations about how these algorithms on the screen are actually calculated. And when you press this key on a keyboard, it takes you to this next screen, etc. So UserDoc helps, that's where AI is being used as one example. Also maintaining requirements. We can build out really in-depth test cases to make sure what's been built technically can be tested. So in this case, it's the login screen. It's saying you enter this information and this is what should happen. We can also ask questions of our system. So let's say you're new to a company and they've got a software system, or it's just really complex and you forget. So you want to say, well, when is the late payment report sent? You can actually ask questions. It says, well, it's sent every Monday morning at 6 a.m. So also, user personas, making sure that we're bringing the users to the forefront. And as Finbar mentioned, journey maps. So being able to paint how your users interact across a narrative, a timeline, with the different features of your system. So sorry, that was a lot of info really fast, but ultimately what we're trying to do is build better software requirements to help businesses build better software. Little bit of an info about like the journey that I've been on super fast. So again, I'm a startup. I built this all myself last year. It was a side project for me. Built the MVP, got some customers. It was really hard work to get off the ground, but I got my first enterprise customer, which is a very large software consultancy, and they were really fundamental in helping me put more time into it. I then realized late last year that existing software systems was a big part of what I needed to tackle. So this year I raised a little bit of money from a US company, went full-time and hired a couple of people to help me out with this. And recently, like last week, I got a government grant from the Australian government to keep pursuing this, and all around like uplifting legacy software systems, really. Where the future holds, I'm not exactly sure, but I have some good ideas. For me personally, I want UserDoc to have more tighter integration with system source code. So I love the idea that as software engineers can change the source code of a system, I want the rest of the business to be able to see exactly how that works in a really ubiquitous, human understandable language. I want to interface with designs, so designers and visual aspects here, so we can integrate that as an input to the system and possibly even an output. And lastly, like maybe assist with generating software source code. So if we have the instructions about putting humans to the forefront of what needs to be built, we can possibly influence what's actually built by developers. So thank you for my long and rambling talk, and I hope it was vaguely interesting.
You killed it. How good was that? I had the great privilege of working with Chris about 10 years ago doing a requirements gathering. We do it a lot, and it was the most pleasurable experience I had in any requirements gathering piece I've done in my career. So to see him bring this to the fore, it is the perfect marriage between a capable individual, Chris, and a software platform using AI. It's amazing. So on that note, we're going to switch across to Phil now, and Phil's going to provide a way to, once you've built the software, so you've done the user requirements gathering, and we all know, put our hands up, who's done a user requirements gathering or a technical requirements gathering? Would you say it's fun? Yeah, good. Yeah, no, this is true, right? It's fun for Chris, but no for no one else. So Guide, we met the Guide guys. I'm a bit of an AI dude. I like chasing tools that can enhance and augment my skills. One of the things I noticed in our team was that we were struggling getting out standard operating procedures, how-tos, walkthroughs, all those sorts of things for our software platforms. So I approached Guide, an Israeli company, and we've got along great. They've built a lot of user features in for things that we've identified as a company. They listen to what we say, and they do. So we reached out to them and said, would you like to be part of this, conversation? And they said, absolutely. The audience sounds amazing and we think we can add value. So I'll pass it off to Phil to tell the story, but this is pretty cool tech too.
Anyone put their hands up if they know what Guide is or they've known what it is? You've got a couple there. All right, good. So, well, it's a game-changing AI-powered video platform that is actually making a lot of waves how we engage software and how we boost productivity. I like to say, imagine a world with complex software. It becomes child's play, where onboarding new team members is a breeze. Knowledge sharing, it happens within the speed of thought. This is what kind of guy he's creating. Clicker, yeah, probably should get that. A statistic from the University of Copenhagen showing that software problems consume about 20% of the user's time. So we're trying to figure out, how does Guide bridge this problem? In today's fast-paced digital landscape, software applications have become the backbone of the businesses. However, with increasing resilience coming in the growing challenge, its complexity of these tools are often hindrance against adoption and efficiency. So Guide's the perfect solution by rapid creating how-to guides, seamless technology sharing, and enhanced application adoption and engagement. Here are some of the organisations that are currently using Guide, over 1,700, which is crazy. We've used it throughout our whole workforce and trying to get it across with our clients as well. The magic behind Guide, so it captures and records workflows it's got a Guide browser extension. I've just skipped a couple there. It enhances, automatically add step-by-step descriptions. It does a voiceover over 100 AI-generated voices in different languages, which is awesome. And it polishes your branding on top of these guides, which makes a really nice presentation. And it's got a multiple way to share the model itself as well. I wouldn't say it's just another tool. It is a productivity powerhouse. Companies that are using Guide report that it creates sophisticated user guides under 10 minutes. It reduces support tickets while increasing video views. And it also improves remote team collaboration and self-service capabilities. It's a very high effective tool for employee training, particularly when new onboarding clients come to Connection. It really helps them speed up their knowledge gap, I would say. One of the biggest things that we like to use is creating SOPs and any other compliance documents. That's been probably the biggest bonus that we've had as well. Next, I want to show you an example of a guide that we've done for one of the features in the Connection platform, which is just doing a timesheet entry on a mobile device.
In this guide, we will guide you through the steps to log a timesheet using the Kim mobile app. Begin by opening the Kim app and proceed to the HR module. We can complete an induction, submit leave, and create a timesheet submission. Select timesheet. Choose the check-in option. The system will be configured to capture just the shift times or allows for time capture against a project or a job. Choose the project or job for which you are submitting this timesheet. For this example, I've selected the Snowy Hydronic project. This project has a geolocation set, allowing check-in only if you are within 10 kilometers of the project. Begin by clicking on the time icon. Enter the time when you started your shift. Choose the checkout option. Enter the time when you finished your shift. The duration will be calculated based on your check-in and check-out inputs. Allowances can also be selected if configured. Choose either yes or no to indicate if you used a travel time allowance. Choose either yes or no to indicate if you used a meal allowance. Click the check mark to submit the timesheet log. This guide has covered the necessary steps to complete a timesheet submission in Connection.
Yeah, so as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. It's very basic. It's very intuitive. The great thing is, yeah, you can put that in so many different languages. We have a couple of clients where, you know, they've got subcontractors, they speak a completely different language. So being able to transform all the training guides in the preferred language they have PDF documentations, being able to export it into not only PDF, into MP4 and MP3, HTML output, put it straight into your Zendesk, has really facilitated that to make it really easy. The other big benefit is, yeah, I guess it includes, it's that change management thing, which is always a dicey subject to get right, particularly when you're trying to incorporate a big system like Connection or a massive ERP like MYB, Acumatica or Sage. Getting that across all the workers and all the staff is quite difficult, so Guide really assists in that side of things. And this is just a testimonial that they have provided, which from Peerforce, they've highlighted that 90% faster video production, a reduction in knowledge-based article creation from 8 hours to 1, and a creation of 200 different articles within 3 weeks. So without Guide, you know, that would have taken ages, I would say. I'll close off by saying that I encourage all you to envision the transformation power of Guide into your own organisations. They've provided a nice little code here that allows you to get a 10% discount on annual licenses. Yeah, really cool bunch of guys. If you want to learn more, please chat me after this. Thank you.
So I think we've decided on a system we're going to do the specification for really quickly. So it was mentioned, it was something along the lines originally of a database of contacts. Maybe they are potential customers or leads in your business, and you want to know, have they changed roles? Have they updated their LinkedIn profile? Do they no longer work where they worked? So this is applicable for possible customers that you have. It's also applicable for maybe if you want to know where your competitors' employees have moved to, or maybe that they're no longer working there and you want to reach out to them. And what was the other? There was advocate. There was a...
Oh, and then yeah, who's your advocate? Who's moving that you know likes your system solutions?
Yeah, that's right.
You might want to touch again and you can't contact them.
Yeah,
So
has your champion, internal champion moved from your customer onto somewhere else? So let's call it moving on. Now, brief little description. Essentially, you want to upload a live typing, terrible, CSV file of contacts, and you want to scrape LinkedIn and other social channels to understand, have they changed roles since last time? I'll just leave it quite open. That's really it. Let's get notified email notification. Keep it quite simple. And I think that's probably like the very high level what we can do. Any other suggestions? Quick little nuggets?
Email notification. I mean, the perfect one would be update existing database.
Yeah, all right. Update CRM.
Yeah.
So let's say upload CSV or integrate with CRM. Cool. All right, let's keep the scope quite tight. So moving on. UserDoc is now going to be a confident AI that's always going to come back with suggestions whether they're relevant or not. So this is the human in the loop, right? So who wants to be involved in this? Possibly recruiter, possibly sales manager. I think generally, let's keep it simple. Let's just have one user type and this, and let's call it business owner. And we'll let UserDoc come back with the suggestion of what they want to do in the system. Oh no, live demo. Sorry, it was actually an internet. I'm tethering right now, and it's getting a little. All right, owner, moving on, manage context, check role changes, blah, 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 awesome. So what we want to get to here is, yes, we want to scaffold the requirements. So UserDoc's now going to come back with the different features that could be involved in this system. Now, it's going to cover everything that we just spoke about, and it's going to have a lot more stuff in it. So I think for this demo, normally you would then go through this, we'd have a chat, and we'd talk through, is this applicable? Is this what we want? But let's look at the broad strokes. So registering, and you can click through this, and you go, all right, this is the registration fields. This all makes sense. Google registration goes to your dashboard. All right, cool, that sounds right. Log in, navigate, upload contacts, or integrate with CRM. Allows integration with popular CRMs, API key, account information. That looks good. Scrape LinkedIn, scrape other social channels, set up your notifications, etc. So for the sake of this, I'm going to say that looks pretty good. There's some stuff here generally you'd probably remove, like view support tickets. Let's take that out. It's not particularly relevant for what we're doing here. But we can of course make these. The beauty is you can use UserDoc to scaffold them, be the first draft, and then we'll go back and refine them later in the day. What was that, sorry?
Can we make sure we take out delete contact?
We can in the next step. Yes, definitely. So I'm just going to quickly scaffold the goals and frustrations of this end user. So they want to increase business efficiency, maintain relationships, stay informed about staff changes. I think that pretty much aligns with what we're doing. The risks are, the frustrations, missing out on key networking opportunities, outdated information, and difficulty tracking staff roles. So for the sake of this and brevity, let's continue. That sounds right. So just one example user journey, which I showed you guys before in the slides. So again, I'll let AI come back with its confident draft, as it always is. So upload the CSV, integrate with CRM, checks the process, scrapes these different channels, detective role changes, system sends email notifications to the owner, updates the CRM. So that's pretty much exactly what we talked about. So we're going to go ahead, and now this will take anywhere between, well, I'm tethering. This could take anywhere between 9 days. No, it'll take about, let's say 12 seconds. So behind the scenes here, our AI agents, which are offering, like the AI agents, if you're not familiar, they're like different roles. They're like busy putting together this document, which is, 30 features in the system, super fast. And what I'll do is I'll quickly jump in here. I'll find this delete contact story, and let's pretend it never happens. So is this the one we want to remove? Yeah, I agree. Cool. So besides this, it's linked. All right, I'll get that later. It's linked to other stories at the moment, so you have to remove those ones. But so basically, we've got high level. Let's look at uploading CSV. So we're uploading a CSV with name, email, phone, current company, job title. I think that is all the information we need in order to track where they are currently, let's say. Integrating with CRM. We have an integrate with CRM page, provides integrations for popular Salesforce, HubSpot, Zoho. We can create a new CRM integration, API key. Yep, from my high-level understanding, this looks good. Probably the RMIT students who are going to build it in the back are going, oh my God, we've got to do this in 3.5 hours. And then what we want to look at is scraping the LinkedIn. So scraping frequency, daily, weekly, monthly. I think that makes sense. And if this was a product we were selling, we'd probably charge different rates for this. Save configuration, etc. And then eventually we want to get the email notifications. So immediate daily summary, information about being contact. Cool. I think this looks good, and also it's come back with generally like a whole CRM. So viewing contacts, editing contacts, deleting contacts. This isn't probably what we need. So I will remove these after the presentation. But essentially, we just want these top bits where it does the actual uploading, integration, and scraping. So I think this is a good baseline. We'll see how far we can get by the end of today. Awesome. Amazing.
I've been in the industry for a long time, and this is amazing for me. Like, this is game-changing stuff. Yeah. All right.
Cool.
So, here is the session complete. Thank you all. Can we definitely thank all of the speakers.